plans to end Title 42 and all the other Trump-era policies that in many ways had taken a border in disarray and created the strongest border we'd seen in a generation.
Well, it's just another example, Joe, of the Democrats absolutely shirking their constitutional duty and their oath to the Constitution. They're falling down on the job. I think when you see what they're doing, the last tool they have in their tool chest that was given to them by the Trump administration is the Title 42 public health restrictions. This is the only thing that protects the American people from the spread of COVID coming across our southern border. And everything shows, excuse me, everything shows that COVID is spreading more and more and more across this border. Those COVID cases are escalating at a very alarming rate now. And just at the time they are, the Biden administration is going to dispense with the Title 42, which can turn these people back immediately. It puts us at a tremendous risk, Joe. I'm a healthcare practitioner. I've been on that border 3 times this year. I've taken a number of my colleagues down there. I'm the Border Security Caucus co-chairman, and it is putting us at risk, not only from health standpoint, but also from the drugs, from the criminal activity. The cartels are now de facto in control of our border, and they're killing people. Literally, people are dying. There have been 321 migrant dead people found down there this year, and they're asking for more body bags. This is an untold disaster that is unfolding down there, getting worse and worse. And I can't blame Governor Abbott and some of these border states. I'm proud of our state of Texas stepping up into the gap and taking our constitutional duty, since the federal government is falling down on the job, and trying to protect ourselves from literally an invasion of criminal activity, of drugs, of possible potential terrorists, on and on and on, that are getting people killed on both sides of this border.
What is it going to take to get some of your colleagues on the other side of the aisle to see what an unmitigated disaster this has become? Democrats currently have the smallest majority that any party has had since World War II. When you look at what's happened here and see just the kind of absolute despair, how can an administration that tells us that COVID is the greatest threat that America is facing right now allow tens of thousands of people to come here now without ever having to get screened for COVID, much less vaccinated, when they say that everyone in America needs to have a shot?
You're spot on here. I mean, it's just incredible that you've got to question the moral character and integrity of these Democrats. Because the only one I've heard so far on the Democrat side is my South Texas colleague, Democrat Henry Cuellar, that has questioned this. He's even called he's called it a shell game, what's happening when they're letting in these unaccompanied children and then moving them from one facility to the next and showing pictures of empty pods when they just moved them 50 yards across a road. It's just unbelievable how irresponsible, really how immoral these Democrats are when they just pilloried President Trump for being cruel and inhumane, children in cages, all this kind of stuff. That we found out the cages were made by Obama, and now we're seeing, I mean, I saw with my own eyes. I took a group down to the Rio Grande Valley sector. I saw a facility in Donna, Texas that was supposed to have no more than 250 UACs, unaccompanied children, in it. There were 5,700 kids in this facility, Joe. It was unbelievable. And we've got to start protecting the American people, and the states are going to have to step up and do that job, unfortunately, because our federal government is simply AWOL.
But to this point, and Governor DeSantis brought this up, they come across the southern border. That's Texas, that's Arizona, that's parts of California. They don't stay there. They're coming to towns and villages all across this country to hide in plain sight. What needs to happen right now? Because, again, to your point, at some point, it almost feels like Democrats want the COVID numbers to go up, because that's not the case, then they just are completely and utterly incompetent, because this notion that you have people coming from low vaccinated countries streaming across our border, no requirement that they get a vaccine once they get here, and that's not counting the people who have actually evaded capture. We are effectively ushering in the second surge of COVID. We are ushering in the second wave of lockdowns, and perhaps that is actually what the people on the left want to see happen to our nation.
Well, you know, Democrats are notorious for wanting chaos, because that's when their socialist policies are easily put in, a so-called save the day. But here we've got in excess of 1 million illegal aliens that have come across our border, spreading COVID, as you just said, and I've seen those numbers. And simply, I can't say that they want to see COVID spread, but I can tell you they want illegal aliens in here, and they want to enfranchise them with citizenship and the right to vote. And you know why. They want a permanent majority. That's what they're after here. That's what this whole thing is about. And, you know, the Constitution specifies, Article 4, Section 4 says the federal government will guarantee each state a Republican form of government, protect us against invasion, and when they don't do that, the states are going to have to step up. And I'm offering a bill. We're going to drop that bill either today or tomorrow, which is going to block grant funds from the federal government to the individual states that are requesting this on the southwest border. That's Arizona, Texas, New Mexico, and California, and block grant these funds so that we can continue to construct this wall. We know walls work. We've seen the data. Amazingly, it frees up so many Border Patrol agents to do the job they need to be doing when we have a solid wall there. And the Democrats say it's immoral. Unfortunately, they live behind walls themselves around their own mansions. We've seen walls come up around the Washington, D.C. Capitol here. It's disgusting to see.